Let's tally to the planets, starting with the Sun. If you were to somehow land on the Sun's surface, you'd vaporize almost instantly. The temperature here reaches a scorching 9,932 degrees Fahrenheit, equivalent to 5,505 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt anything you can find on Earth. It's a swift death, you wouldn't even feel the pain. Next, let's visit Mercury, the closest planet to the Sun, sitting at an average distance of 58 million kilometers. Mercury is bombarded daily with intense, searing sunlight and deadly levels of radiation. However, Mercury isn't the hottest planet. The lack of an atmosphere means it can't trap the heat it receives. This also results in Mercury having the largest temperature swings in the solar system. Daytime temperatures soar to 800 degrees Fahrenheit, equivalent to 427 degrees Celsius, while nighttime temps plummet to negative 290 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 179 degrees Celsius along the equator. In other words, you'd be roasted alive on the sun-facing side and frozen solid on the dark side. Fortunately, Mercury rotates very slowly. It takes 88 Earth days to orbit the Sun, but a whopping 176 Earth days to complete one rotation on its axis. So, if you found yourself at the boundary between the scorching and freezing sides, the temperature might be just tolerable enough for you to survive, barely 2 minutes. Unfortunately, Mercury's atmosphere is far too thin to sustain life. You'd die much like someone drifting in the vacuum of space. After about 15 seconds, you'd lose consciousness from lack of oxygen, and within 90 seconds, you'd suffocate to death. Venus, often called Earth's twin due to their similar size and composition, is anything but friendly. Venus is a place where you can experience multiple ways to die, all in quick succession. The planet's atmosphere is a thick, toxic soup, composed of 96.5% carbon dioxide with clouds of sulfuric acid. This deadly cocktail would cause you to suffocate almost instantly. The CO2 in Venus's atmosphere also creates an extreme greenhouse effect, trapping heat and making Venus the hottest planet in the solar system, despite being 108 million kilometers from the Sun. The surface temperature on Venus reaches a scorching 867 degrees Fahrenheit, equivalent to 464 degrees Celsius, so you'd quickly be incinerated. If the heat doesn't kill you, the atmospheric pressure will. At the surface, Venus's atmospheric pressure is 92 times that of Earth's, equivalent to being 3,000 feet underwater. This pressure would crush you flat like a pancake in seconds, and if you somehow survived both the heat and the pressure, you'd be in for a slow, painful death by acid rain and volcanic lava. The acid would corrode you to the bone, and the lava would erase any trace that you ever existed. Earth's twin is definitely not a friendly sibling. Earth where the possibilities for death are endless, with a 100% mortality rate. Mars, the red planet, with its rocky terrain and massive dust storms, offers quite the cold welcome. The average surface temperature hovers around negative 81 degrees Fahrenheit, and it can plummet to a bone-chilling negative 226 degrees Fahrenheit at the poles. While the good news is that summer temperatures near the equator can reach a balmy 95 degrees Fahrenheit or 35 degrees Celsius, the bad news is that you still wouldn't last long. The atmospheric pressure on Mars is just 0.00628 atmospheres. In this thin atmosphere, any exposed bodily fluids like sweat, saliva, tears, and mucus would boil and evaporate almost instantly. The air in your lungs would expand, potentially causing them to rupture if you didn't exhale quickly. Mars's atmosphere is 95% CO2 with only 0.13% oxygen, compared to Earth's 21%. The lack of oxygen would cause you to lose consciousness in about 15 seconds, and death would follow in roughly 90 seconds. To top it all off, you might be swept away by one of Mars's infamous dust storms. You will look like a pile of dusty trash that is blown all over the place. Jupiter, the largest planet in our solar system and a gas giant, means you wouldn't have a solid surface to stand on. As you descend into Jupiter's atmosphere, the gases become denser, with crushing pressures and deadly temperatures. The upper atmosphere of Jupiter is extremely cold, around minus 234 degrees Fahrenheit, but deeper down, the temperature skyrockets to over 43,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The pressure at these depths is unimaginable, millions of times greater than the pressure at Earth's sea level, capable of crushing anything, even the toughest materials known to man. Jupiter is also famous for the Great Red Spot, a storm twice the size of Earth that has raged for centuries. Imagine trying to survive in a storm with winds over 400 miles per hour while being bombarded by lightning strikes over 1,000 times more powerful than those on Earth. So, if you were to somehow appear on Jupiter and start falling, you'd freeze in the upper atmosphere, be crushed into oblivion as you fell deeper, burned to a crisp by the intense heat, and finally swept away by the super powerful winds. Less than 1 second is the time you can survive if you are on Jupiter. And yes, the same fate would await you on Saturn. Uranus is a giant ice planet, and it's as deadly as it is cold. The ice here isn't your typical frozen water, but a dense mixture of water, methane, and ammonia, all in a liquid form. So instead of standing, you'd find yourself swimming, only it's a swim of doom. Not only would you struggle to breathe, but the ammonia would start to eat away at your skin. Before you know it, you'd turn into a popsicle with temperatures dropping to minus 371 degrees Fahrenheit. You'd sink to the bottom of this barren ocean, never to surface again. If that's not bad enough, the outer layers of Uranus are made up mostly of hydrogen and helium, which create violent winds. These winds can reach speeds of up to 560 miles per hour, or 900 kilometers per hour, strong enough to sweep you away and crush you before you even hit the ammonia-filled ocean below. Your time on this planet would be brutally short, just a few seconds before you're frozen solid and carried away by the powerful winds. A similar fate awaits you on Neptune, but with even stronger winds and colder temperatures. On the bright side, if you're incredibly lucky, you might catch a glimpse of the diamond rain that falls on these planets, a small consolation before you're pummeled to death by falling diamonds, a death in wealth. And finally, there's Pluto. No longer classified as a planet, but let's include it for a sense of completion. Pluto is relatively calm compared to the others. Its surface is made of frozen methane and nitrogen, making it easy to stand on. But with a thin atmosphere full of carbon monoxide, you'd die instantly, possibly not even realizing why. You could not breathe before freezing solid. At least your death on Pluto would be quick and quiet, perfectly fitting for the most distant world in the solar system. And that's all I have for this video. Thanks, and see you next time.